Canelo Alvarez makes his pick. Dmitry Bivol out of Russia. David Benavidez reacts. If you want to find out what David Benavidez had to say about Canelo and him not getting the fight, stay tuned to this video. Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys come in, smash the like button, all that good stuff. I promise you, we working. Canelo Alvarez makes his pick. He will be fighting against Dmitry Bivol. I've already kind of given you some of my thoughts. David Benavidez has reacted to this news. To hear what he had to say, let's get to it. So this is from boxing reporter Lance, and it says, from David Benavidez, quote, "We all knew Canelo wouldn't want to fight me. He's fought his tough fights. He's a businessman. For him, it's not fighting the best, it's business. I'm focused on fighting the best fights, and I can get with fighters who are willing to fight me," end quote. Dang, homie. In high school, you was a man, homie. So he's saying that basically Canelo has an overall good resume, basically. And since he's already been through tough fights, he wants to have business fights, like fights where he thinks he can make a lot of money, less risk, and things like that. And I agree with David Benavidez 1000%. This is exactly what Canelo is doing. And, you know, some people, they get gassed up because it's easy to look at what Canelo's doing. And if you're not in tune, you know, decide what you want to decide. But the reality is Canelo is, for me personally, I've been requesting certain fights from Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade to Jamal Charlo to guys like Artur Beterbiev to guys like David Benavidez. And most of these fights, like Andrade and Charlo and Beterbiev and even Benavidez at this point, have been lingering on for years. And Canelo seemingly wants to fight everybody under the sun except for these guys. So I agree with David Benavidez. He said we all knew that Canelo didn't want to fight. Now, David Benavidez post-fight, after his last fight, he fought Kyrone Davis through no fault of his own because his original opponent, former champion Jose Uzcategui, tested positive because he had that stuff in his system because he didn't want to fight David Benavidez clean. So David Benavidez had no choice. But this is what David Benavidez, this is his particular journey and what he's going to have to go through, you know, in order to get good fights, because right now he's super dangerous and he's super confident. So just like he's saying, we knew Canelo wasn't trying to fight him. Now, to add insult to injury, Canelo Alvarez in fighting Bivol, you know, so many different variables, but I don't like the belts being held hostage. At 168, you became undisputed. So now the division can't move since you have every single belt at 168 and you're not even trying to fight at 168. So that's not something I'm going to praise, because guys like David Benavidez are young, hungry. They need belts. They need big events. They need the opponents. And meanwhile, just like Benavidez is saying, Canelo's quote unquote had some big fights in his resume. And he's had tough fights, so he's choosing to play this musical chairs kind of game. And it's just not really fair for the rest of the fighters, including his old ex-promoter. This is what he had to say. Roll the clip.
Canelo, you've been involved in his career for so long, and he's now in the middle of a pretty tough decision as to how he's going to proceed with a doubleheader of Dmitry Bivol followed by Triple G. You know, a trilogy match that you were involved in those first two fights, or going to Charlo. What's that?
I said way long overdue.
Yes, or a doubleheader of Charlo and Benavidez. What would you advise Canelo to do?
So question is, who you want to, so this is before Canelo announced Bivol. This interview was done with Oscar De La Hoya. What do you want to see with options from PBC and DAZN? This is someone, keep in mind, Oscar De La Hoya, he's affiliated with DAZN. He has a working relationship that they just extended with DAZN. This is what he said.
if you were, still working arm in arm with him?
If I was in Canelo's ear, I would, me, Lance, I would go for the toughest guys. I would go for Benavidez and Charlo.
Boom. I would go for Benavidez and Charlo. So it's funny because a lot of the Canelo man fans, they keep saying that Bivol is such a crazy fight for Canelo and is much tougher. And I'm seeing all types of stuff. Bivol would whoop Charlo and destroy Charlo and things like that. That's all speculation. Why is Canelo's former promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, why is he saying the tougher fights is David Benavidez and Charlo? And he doesn't even work with PBC, nor does he necessarily have a great relationship with Al Heyman and PBC. And he works with DAZN, where Canelo is going, and he didn't say pick Bivol and John Ryder and a 40-year-old Triple G.
Obviously, the monies that are being offered are almost the same, but, I strongly feel that Canelo wants to be great. He wants to break records.
Yeah.
So in order for him to do that, hopefully he'll pick Benavidez and Charlo.
Hopefully he'll pick Benavidez, Charlo. He didn't say nothing about no Bivol.
He'll pick Benavidez and Charlo.
Okay.
And make a lot of money at the same time.
And make a lot of money. So he could have made a lot of money, did what was bigger for boxing, bigger fights, stayed at 168 where he's undisputed instead of holding up the division. Okay, talk to him about it.
So he's literally, hitting two birds with one stone here. He can make a lot of money and fight the very best and continue with his legacy.
Boom. But fast forward to the future in real time, that's not what Canelo chose. Now, another great who just had a birthday, Floyd Money Mayweather. Easy work. I ain't got to worry about. Like I said before. Yeah, Canelo, he a good fighter. He's a young, hungry lion. This is what Floyd had to say about Mr. Alvarez. Baby, you want babe?
I look up and down, but it is what it is. I mean, if it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez.
Like Winky once said, we want to see Canelo versus Benavidez. There you have it.
I mean, if it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo's a hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez.
My personal opinion, says Floyd TBE Money Mayweather X Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. My personal opinion is Canelo's ducking Benavidez. Boom.
My personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's
talk to him, Floyd. So it's ironic to see that despite his old promoter Oscar De La Hoya saying the better and bigger fights where you can make a lot of money and fight the tougher fights, Oscar De La Hoya, he's saying it's Charlo and Benavidez. Floyd said, me and Winky want to see Canelo versus Benavidez, and I think he's ducking Benavidez. And Boxing Ego tell you that Canelo, he wasn't going to fight against Benavidez next. Boxing Ego tell you that Canelo, he wasn't going to fight Jamal Charlo next. The Canelo man fans, they said, oh, Charlo will get his butt kicked. Oh, David Benavidez is not ready. But David Benavidez is not the one turning down the fight. Showtime, PBC, Al Heyman, Premier Boxing Champ, they offer Canelo a lot of money, people, to make the fight. And, ultimately he decided something different. So it's funny just to see this unfold, and they're talking about Canelo doing a third fight, but who's he going to fight with DAZN? Eddie Hearn's stable, he don't look like he has anyone that's capable of beating Canelo in 2022 or even really giving a big event, right? And this is what I said. I said Canelo ain't going to pick Charlo and Benavidez, the PBC option, which is the biggest fights and more visibility, more money, because those are very physically taxing fights with American styles, very unpredictable. I would love if Canelo proved me wrong. This is my tweet before he announced. I would love if Canelo proved me wrong. I would be shocked, which he won't. Fast forward to the future. I just told you, Canelo's fighting Bivol. Boom, he didn't prove me wrong. I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest in boxing history, and that's it. That's all y'all need to know. Subscribe to the channel. You know, and on top of that, DAZN, the company said pay-per-view's dead. They're trying to put this on pay-per-view for $80. Good luck. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.